Hey guys, TheSmileBC here, back with another Lord of the Rings mod video, and this time I wanted to take the time to highlight some of the relatively older features that over the course of the last few updates has been expanded on and can be a bit tricky to get into if you're a new player. So without further ado, let's jump into the Farmhands of Middle-earth. First of all, there are currently 7 factions you can hire Farmhands from. You can hire farm friends with 50 alignment from Hobbit, Gondorian, Rohirrim, Torodain, Dorwinian and Easterling farmers, or you can hire Nuon slaves from Mordor, slavers for 200 alignment. Be warned though, even though they are slaves, good aligned factions will still attack the slaves as they are part of the Mordor faction. All farmhands start with a price per unit of 40 coins, but as you gain alignment, you can decrease the amount to 20 coins per unit. Before you do hire your farmhands or slaves, I do recommend you set up the farmlands they are going to work on. Be sure that you have some seeds, a minimum of 2, already in your possession of the crop you wish your farmhands to produce. They will need this to recognize the crop they have to take care of. To begin, it is recommended that you wall or fence around the terrain, so your farmers don't wander off as easily or NPCs trample on your crops. Then be sure to remove any clovers, tall grass or leaves in the farmland area so that the farmhands can turn the dirt under it into soil. You will also have to provide the water source for the soil to turn into wet soil. The farmhands don't like working on dry soil and will just leave unwatered areas untilted. For reference, 1 block of water will cover a 4x4 horizontal radius of land. So be sure, if your farm is on several Y levels, that you water each level. Now if you don't want the farmhands to till some soil in a specific pattern or place, you can place a block of sand under that dirt or grass block, so that the farmhands will acknowledge that you own that block and leave it alone. This can also be used for a way to keep some land untilted so melons and pumpkins can properly grow there. Now your farmhands will hunt bunnies, so don't be too worried about that. What you should be scared of, however, are birds. Birds are evil little bastards that will hunt for your seeds whether you have it in your hand or place it on the ground. Be sure to build a scarecrow to keep them away. You can do this by placing a skull or a pumpkin on top of any solid, non-transparent block that is also on top of a fence. Exceptions to this, however, are the boss skulls or the grapevine post. They cover a radius of 16 by 16, which is the same as the silver banner protection. A personal tip from me would be to protect your farm by placing the banners under the scarecrows, and that way you always know where they are and what the scarecrows cover in protection. One final thing that is really handy to have is a collector chest in your farm. You can do this by placing a chest on top of a fence and attach an item frame against the chest with a hoe in the frame. Any harvest your farmhands will collect goes straight into the chest. This way you won't have to go and talk to each farmer for their harvest. If you place bone meal in there, they will also take that to grow their crops faster. Well then, that sounded like a lot more work than that it actually was, and only half of the things I said are necessities, but now to focus on the actual farmhands. Hiring them is much like units, but when you interact with them, they go to the command interface. You'll see a farming mode and an inventory. First thing you want to do is go to the farm that you set up, and once they are in there, turn farm mode on. Specify the radius they are allowed to work in from the point they are standing. Then open their inventory. You'll see several slots, 1 with seeds, 2 empty ones, below that, and the bone meal slot. You'll have to supply the farmhand with the specific crop or seed that they are meant to harvest, and if you want, the additional bone meal. They will then start working, and that's it. It isn't very hard or complicated to get them to work, but setting things up properly or optimally can be a little bit tricky if you don't know all the facts. One final warning though, if you want them to grow grapes on vine posts, you do have to set up vine posts yourself and give the seeds to the farmer. Just be sure that you keep the chunk loaded as often as possible for them to work, so make your farms close at home, and you should be set with everything you need to know about farmhands and farming in Middle-earth. If you found this video helpful, be sure to leave a like, comment if you have any questions about farmhands, and subscribe for more videos. This was TheSmileBC, and I'm out. Peace.